Ask that you all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Clerk Tamer, call the roll, please.
Mulliner. Here. Brennan.
Here.
Verimus. Here. Deuter. Here. Dunn, absent. Hill.
Here.
Halemsky. Here. Jensen.
Here.
Toludo.
Here.
Cahill.
Here.
Nudera.
Here.
Park.
Here.
Conquest.
Here.
Bastido, absent. 12 present, 2 absent.
12 present, 2 absent. We have a quorum. We're going to move on to item 2 on our agenda, which is a very special presentation. We're going to have a recognition of our York High School PIR team state champions. I feel pretty good that we've had a lot of state champions come before us in the recent months, but I think this is the first one for this team. So what I'd like to do is start off and ask it's a good sign. They're still performing. If we could ask the 3 coaches, Matt Burke, Becky Marionetti, and Kevin Martin, to join me over here at the podium.
You have one at the podium there. Do you need, do you want the wireless?
Yeah, that's right. Well,
Phil, you got that? Thank you.
thank you. I have a proclamation here which I'd like to read, but before I do that, Becky, are you going to do or Matt, you're doing the introductions of our team members?
There we go. So we have a team of 12 with our performance in the round. We have, in the order that they're standing, Charlie Matthias, we've got Will Fisher, Jack Davies, Gio Santoro, Oliver Roy, Noli Hanna, Elle Kramer, Luke Hanley, Alexa Klein, Eloise Hill, and Sam Youngman. And our stage manager was Tara Freund, who cannot join us tonight.
Right. You passed that test. So let me read the proclamation. I'm going to ask Becky to tell you a little bit more about the team. Whereas York Community High School has been successful in challenging all students to excel in academics and in a variety of extracurricular activities, and whereas the York High School Speech and Performance in the Round team offers students the opportunity to build on their public speaking and performance skills while creating lasting memories and friendships. Whereas after back-to-back regional and sectional championships, the York High School PIR team earned a state championship at the Illinois High School Association Speech State Final on Saturday, February 18th, 2023, for the first time in the school's history. And whereas the team of 12 students performed their 15-minute adaptation of Charles Mackay's The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, which was chosen because it fit in this year's theme and program message, Be the Good. And whereas the York High School PIR team is just one example of the many valuable organizations that continue to represent the city in a meaningful way that is worthy of acknowledgement, now therefore I, Scott M. Levin, Mayor of the City of Elmhurst, with great pride, congratulate the 2023 York Performance in the Round team on their tremendous achievements this season, and do hereby proclaim March 20, 2023 as York High School Performance in the Round Team Day, signed by me. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're very excited to be here tonight. And yes, so as Mr. Levin said, we were able to go from regionals to sectionals, and then 18 teams went to state representing all of Illinois, and we were able to win that. It was a very exciting day, and the way they approach it there is they tell you about 3 minutes before you won that you won, and then your students go onto the stage, and then they do a live stream for all of everyone. So they knew about 3 minutes before they were going to go on to perform the state-winning piece, so that was very exciting. But as Mayor Levin said, our motto at York Drama is be the good, and so we always try to choose material that gives examples of how people, and in this case animals and creatures and wonderful things, can be the good in the world, and I think that's something that we all need right now, and so it was a very exciting time. So we're very proud of the medal, which we present to you as well, Mayor Levin, thank you very much. But we are even more proud of the people and the performers that these students are, and thank you to Mr. Martin, the head of the speech team, for allowing us to work with these students, so thank you so much.
I'll give it back to you when I'm done. So what I'd like to do, the council always likes to congratulate when we have a state champion, so I would invite you to carefully walk up in front of the dais, one in a single file, don't be shy. And when you come down the other side, there's a step coming down, just remember that.
Congratulations. 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 Outstanding. Very good.
Coaches?
Hey, best wishes. All right. Don't get away. Picture. All right. Great job. So happy. Very good. Thank you. Congratulations.
Job.
Thank you. Very good.
Thank you.
A pleasure. Congratulations. Wow. Impressive. Thank you. Beautiful job. Nice job. Thank you. Nice job. Outstanding. Thank you.
So good to hear what you represent.
Very proud. Thank you.
Guys, that's so great.
Congratulations.
Hey, congratulations.
Coach?
Thank you again.
Once again.
Hey, congrats.
All right, we're going to move on to the regularly scheduled portion of our meeting. You're certainly welcome to stay and get some civics credit, but if you want to leave at this time, you're free to go, and we'll move on with the rest of the agenda in about 60 seconds. Let's hear one more time for our PIR team. All right. We'll move on to item 3 on our agenda, receipt of written communications from the public. Is there anyone in the audience that has a written communication that they would like to deliver to the council? If so, please raise your hand. Seeing none, we will move on to item 4 on the agenda, public forum. Clerk Tamer, has anyone signed in for public forum?
Yes, Mayor. Peggy Babiar.
All right. Each person who speaks at public forum, please state your name. Address is optional. It just helps us contact you if we need to follow up. You have 3 minutes, and if you'll take the microphone behind you there, Peggy.
This one here?
No, the one right behind you there.
You want me to stand up first?
Yes, please.
Good evening. My name is Peggy Babiar, and I live at 600 Chatham Avenue in Elmhurst. And I'm here on behalf of the Elmhurst Heritage Foundation. Next month, we're going to be celebrating 15 years of our partnership with the city. And I just want to give a little history for those who might not know a lot about who we are and what we've done. In 2006, a committee was formed to consider combining the existing Elmhurst Historical Museum Foundation with the Elmhurst Historical Commission and other local leaders interested in preserving and honoring the history of Elmhurst. The goals of the new organization were to raise adequate funds for the museum and to speak with one voice about the museum and local history. In 2007 and 2008, the Heritage Foundation was created with an expanded board of directors and a revised partnership agreement with the City of Elmhurst. The following mission statement was adopted. The mission of the Elmhurst Heritage Foundation is to stimulate broad-based support for local history, the Elmhurst History Museum, and the Churchville Schoolhouse through advocacy, education, and fundraising. And since its establishment as a 501c3 organization, the Elmhurst Heritage Foundation has accomplished many things to fulfill the mission. We advocate for the museum in the community and with City Council. We established a membership program with more than 200 members. We have an expansion of the donor base through an annual fundraising campaign and other events. In 2022, the annual appeal and other donations raised almost $50,000. Sponsorships of exhibits by local businesses was increased to $16,000 in 2022. The 7th Annual Beer Fest, held on the museum grounds in September, attracted more than 1,000 visitors from 72 surrounding communities and raised $56,000. Hosting events with community groups, including the Chamber of Commerce and Elmhurst University. So next month in April, the foundation will be hosting an event to celebrate our 15 years. It's going to be an exciting night for our members and our donors, and if any of you have not joined our museum, this is a very personal invite to all of you to join us and celebrate our 15 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Babiar. Is there anyone else who has signed up for public comment?
No one else signed
All
up,
right.
Mayor.
Is there anyone in the audience who wanted to make public comment but did not have an opportunity to sign in? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 5, announcements. Are there any announcements from the dais? Clerk Tamer.
This Wednesday at York High School, we have the Youth Job and Volunteer Fair from right after school gets out at York at 3:05 till 6 p.m. We have about 45 companies and organizations that are signed up in attendance, and we're looking forward to it. We're back from the COVID years and back to how many and more than we had prior. So hope everyone can bring their kids, appropriate for ages, grades 6 and up, for the volunteer opportunities and then the job opportunities for high school. That's it.
Thank you, Clerk Tamer. We'll move on to the consent agenda, if you're well rested. Oh, you have one more?
Voting.
Proceed.
Early voting has begun at City Hall as of today. We are a temporary early voting site, so Monday through Friday and Saturday, with it ending on Saturday, April 1st. So it does end on Saturday, April 1st, and opens again for Election Day on Tuesday. That's
Thank you.
it.
I should say, are any other announcements from the dais? All right. Clerk Tamer,
Yes.
if you want to take off on the consent agenda, which is a little bit long this evening, but go right ahead.
6.1, minutes of the regular meeting of the Elmhurst City Council on March 6, 2023. 6.2, minutes of the executive session meeting of the Elmhurst City Council on March 6, 2023. 6.3, accounts payable, March 20, 2023, $890,306.62. 6.4, referral, Michigan Gladys Traffic Control. 6.5, report, real estate assets. 6.6, report case 23 ZBA 01, Mastrino variation, 757 South Parkside. 6.7, report, water and sewer rate study. 6.8, report, Q for a cause. 6.9, report, Umbrella Sky project installations request. 6.10, report, firearm safety education. 6.11, report, 1 Moorbark Eager Beaver Z1, 2131 TA brush chipper. 6.12, report, concrete streetlight pole purchase. 6.13, report, 2 Chevy Bolt electric vehicles. See item 9.2. 6.14, report, traffic signal controller replacement. See item 9.3. 6.15, report, sanitary sewer lining and manhole rehabilitation. See items 10.1. 6.16, report, sanitary sewer lining and manhole rehabilitation, professional services. See item 10.2. 6.17, report, DuPage County gasoline and diesel procurement joint purchase. See item 10.3. 6.18, report, 2023 tree purchase and planting program. See item 10.4. 6.9, report, change order, McKinley Stormwater Pump Station rehabilitation project. See item 10.5. 6.20, report, change order, WRF Bundle 4 project. See item 10.6. 6.21, an ordinance denying an application for a conditional use permit to construct a building with a height of greater than 77 feet and granting a conditional use permit for a planned unit development with a site development allowance for the construction of condominium building at the property commonly known as 200 North York Street, Elmhurst, Illinois. 6.22, an ordinance to amend Chapter 24 entitled Building Code of the Municipal Code of Ordinances of the City of Elmhurst, Illinois. 6.23, an ordinance to amend Section 36.09 entitled Classification of Licenses of Article 2, entitled Retail Licenses of Chapter 36, entitled Liquor of the Municipal Code of Ordinances of the City of Elmhurst, Illinois. 6.24, an ordinance to amend Section 3611 entitled Limitations on Number of Licenses of Article 2, entitled Retail Licenses of Chapter 36, entitled Liquor of the Municipal Code of Ordinances of the City of Elmhurst, Illinois. 6.25, an ordinance amending Section 16.11 entitled Service Charges of Chapter 16, entitled Garbage and Rubbish of the Municipal Code of Ordinances of the City of Elmhurst, Illinois. 6.26, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a non-exclusive license agreement by and between the Spring Road Business Association and the City of Elmhurst, DuPage, and Cook Counties, Illinois. 6.27, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a non-exclusive license agreement by and between Elmhurst Running Club, Inc. and the City of Elmhurst, DuPage, and Cook Counties, Illinois. 6.28, an ordinance waiving bid and authorizing the execution of a contract between Aries Charter Transportation, Inc. and the City of Elmhurst for services related to the 2023 Explore Elmhurst Express Trolley Program. 6.29, an ordinance waiving bid and authorizing the execution of a contract for the 2023 Sidewalk Replacement Project. 6.30, an ordinance reserving and authorizing the transfer of volume cap in connection with private activity bond issues and related matters. 6.31, a resolution approving the 2023 community grant recommendations and awarding the community grants. And 6.32, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a professional design engineering services agreement between the City of Elmhurst, Illinois and Baxter and Woodman, Inc. for the North Industrial Force Main Replacement Project.
Thank you, Clerk Tamer. Is there any item on the consent agenda that any alderman would like to remove, either for the purpose of voting against or for further discussion? Alderman Honquist.
6.21, please, Mayor.
6.21. Alderman Nudera.
6.10.
6.10. Anyone else? All right, I'd ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda minus items 6.10 and 6.21. Motion Alderman Hill, second Alderman Cahill. Clerk Tamer.
Mulliner.
Aye.
Redden.
Aye.
Barimas.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
Dunn. Absent. Hill.
Aye.
Palumski.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Toludo. Aye. Cahill.
Aye.
Nudera.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Honquist.
Aye.
Bastido, absent. 12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent.
12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent. The consent agenda is adopted minus items 6.10 and 6.21. Clerk Tamer, would you read the report for 6.10?
It is therefore the recommendation of the Public Affairs and Safety Committee that the City Council approve a resolution supporting expanded firearm safety programming to enhance the public safety and crime prevention efforts in the City of Elmhurst. The committee recommends the City Attorney be authorized to prepare the necessary documents for City Council approval. Signed, Marty Deuter, Chair, Jacob Hill, Vice Chair, James A. Nudera, 5th Ward Alderman.
Thank you. May I have a motion to put item 6.10, report 6.10 before the council? Motion Alderman Deuter, second Alderman Hill. Alderman Deuter.
Thank you, Mayor. This report recommends that we expand the firearm safety currently being offered by our police and fire departments in a variety of ways that are described in the report.
Thank you. Alderman Nudera.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I support this report on firearm safety and education, and would like to reference the third paragraph of the report. It is important that the partnership be fully vetted to assure that the partners stay within the guidelines and out of the political arena, and maintain focus on the mission of firearm safety and education. Just a comment.
All right, and that's in the report right now. All right, thank you. Additional discussion. All right, Clerk Tamer, call the roll on 6.10.
Mulliner.
Aye.
Brennan.
Aye.
Barimas.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
Dunn. Absent. Hill.
Aye.
Palumski.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Toludo. Aye. Cahill.
Aye.
Nudera.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Conquest,
Aye.
Bastido, absent. 12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent.
12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent. Report 6.10 is adopted. Clerk Tamer, would you read the ordinance for 6.21?
An ordinance denying an application for a conditional use permit to construct a building with a height of greater than 77 feet and granting a conditional use permit for a planned unit development with a site development allowance for the construction of condominium building at the property commonly known as 200 North York Street, Elmhurst, Illinois.
We have a motion to put this before the council. Alderman Palumsky, second Alderman Mulliner. Alderman Palumsky.
Thank you, Mayor. I defer to Alderman Honquist to pull this ordinance.
Alderman Honquist.
Thank you, Mayor. I wasn't here a couple weeks ago when we voted on this. I just had a few comments. As many of you know, I spent quite a bit of time on DPZ in my tenure here. And I was reflecting back on this as well as my tenure in general recently. And I recall that when I was first elected in 2013, we didn't have any substantial construction in downtown Elmhurst. Matter of fact, the 255 building, which sits over here now, was one of the first votes I had. That project itself was not a very good financial project for the city. As a matter of fact, I'd say it was probably a loser with the amount of money that we had to invest to make it happen, standing by itself. But what it started was a rejuvenation of downtown Elmhurst. And Friday night, I was at a charity event, and I met a woman from Hinsdale. And she said, I like Elmhurst a lot. And I said, no, well, thank you. I think Hinsdale's a great town. A lot of these communities are. And she said, yeah. She goes, but I really like Elmhurst. And then she went on for several minutes talking about how fantastic Elmhurst has become. And I didn't tell her I was an alderman or anything. I just said thank you, and we kind of went our separate ways. But I started thinking about the thin line, or the delicate balance that we have to walk in doing development, because nobody likes construction. Anyone that says they do is lying, unless they're obviously a builder. But for a city that's now closing in on 150 years old, unfortunately, there's a lot of places that have to get rejuvenated, rebuilt, redeveloped. And there's none more to me than what is directly across the street from this city. I would just remind everyone to walk outside tonight and look at what sits there today, and that is in desperate need of some development. Number one. Number two, I understand a lot of the objection was on height. When we first started doing it, to my original comments, the city would have to get involved. And when we got involved and invested dollars, we often had a say in what a building would look like or some of its different features. Part of the process we updated as we move forward was to start a PUD process and conditional use process, some of which we had, some of which we advanced. So the city had some input, some relationship with developers as they came through town. I'm disappointed that this developer got this far along that there wasn't some middle ground on height. From what I can tell, that was the only real objection to that building. That said, the height is not that extensive over what is now behind it, over what's next door behind us, which has been here for quite some time, and the apartment building that's under the underpass coming up, which is 9 stories. So there's plenty of height in town that it just doesn't, people don't stand there and go, oh, wow, that's so tall, because once you get used to it, you don't notice it anymore. So I'm disappointed that there wasn't either some negotiation, maybe we can use TIF dollars. I think we've got a little spoiled because a lot of people come in town don't need TIF dollars anymore. But for me, doing the math across the street, even if it was a story shorter, the 30, 35 million, $40 million project and the revenue that it would generate for the city and the schools, to me is a no-brainer. So I will be voting no on this for obvious reasons, and I hope that it comes back. And I hope that we can work something out to develop something across the street. Because my final comment is, Addison Street should not be the nicest street in Elmhurst, Yorkshire. And it's going to take some work to get some of these buildings redeveloped. And this street and the southern part of York to the tracks, it's our Broadway. And we've got some nice structures along there. We've done a great job with the restaurants. The plan we put in place has worked, to the woman's comments. I don't think anyone I talk to, even around town, even though some don't like the height, they like what we've done with downtown. So I would just encourage all of you as we go forward to be careful with this because whether we end up in a recession or not, tens of millions of dollar projects should not be treated lightly. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Honquist. Additional comment? Alderman Brennan.
Thank you, Mayor. So I had voted no for the report a few weeks ago. That vote will not change this evening. So I support the comments of Alderman Honquist, and we'll be voting no.
All right, additional comments? All right, Clerk Tamer, call the roll on report or ordinance 6.21.
Mulliner. Aye. Brennan.
No.
Bremus.
Aye.
Joyder.
Aye.
Dunn absent. Hill.
Aye.
Palumsky.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Toludo.
Aye.
Cahill.
No.
Nudera.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Honquist.
No.
Bastido absent. 9 ayes, 3 nays, 2 absent.
9 ayes, 3 nays, 2 absent. Ordinance 6.21 is adopted. Moving on to item 7, reports and recommendations of appointed and elected officials. Mayor Levin. Senior Safety Symposium will be held on April 26 between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. at Elmhurst Christian Reformed Church on Brush Hill Road, with our police, fire, and public works departments participating, along with the Metropolitan Family Services, Elmhurst Park District, and the DuPage Senior Council. It's a free event, but reservations are required to participate. Our Public Works Academy, which is relatively new, follows the model of our Police Academy. Registration is open, and the session starts on April 13th, runs through May 15th. On Thursdays, space is limited on that one as well. I wanted to give a very special congratulations to the York hockey team, which played in the United Center on Sunday afternoon in the state championship. Sadly, they didn't win, but they came in second in the state, which is a remarkable accomplishment. It's, I believe, the first time they've ever made it to the championship game. I was very proud of the community showing of support. I think they estimated there were 10,000 fans there. The entire ground level was filled, and I would venture from my guess that 2/3 of the people were Elmhurst residents. There was a rush hour going down to the game. I saw a few aldermen there as well. So congratulations to your hockey club, and I'll mention the junior varsity team did win its state championship game a week ago tonight. I also wanted to mention that for those candidates, and really to anyone out there, your signs are not welcome in the public parkways except in certain designated areas around City Hall. This public parkways are city property, and we get calls from time to time asking why some signs are allowed and others aren't. The answer is none are allowed, and we may be making an announcement that they will be removed if they're in non-designated portions of the parkway. That is all I have in my report. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. 2 items tonight. A reminder to people that city stickers are now on sale and that they must be on the windshield of a vehicle in town by May 1st. And then we have set our spring cleanup dates. That would be on consecutive Saturdays. April 22nd for those with a Wednesday pickup, April 29th for those with a Thursday pickup, and May 8th for those with a Friday pickup. So all that information is on the city website. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. Are there any other reports from elected officials? All right, we'll move on to item 8, committee reports. Clerk Tamer, 8.1, would you read the report, please?
It is therefore the recommendation of the Public Works and Buildings Committee that the existing new sidewalk installation policy remain as is, and that the City Council pursue TIF fund usage and/or grant funding for the priority sidewalk installations as noted above, and that the City Attorney be authorized to prepare the necessary City Council documents. Signed, Mike Brennan, Chair, Michael Honquist, Vice Chair, Brian P. Cahill, Alderman, and Tina Park, Alderman.
We have a motion to put report 8.1 before the council. Motion, Alderman Brennan. Second, Alderman Honquist. Alderman Brennan.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is a lengthy, the report's not lengthy, but
what happened in committee is. So I'm going to read some notes here.
All right.
I'd first like to start with thanking Director Balicki and staff. They gathered a bunch of information for the committee and supported us along the way. So, over a decade ago, Elmhurst City Council adopted a new sidewalk installation policy. This policy laid out a process for full blocks to advocate for sidewalks, and if criteria were met, then a special service area, or SSA, would be set up for a 50-50 cost-sharing agreement between the city and the residents on the full block. Alderman Polumsky and Alderman Jensen submitted a sidewalk referral. Thank you, Alderman. Appreciate you advocating for your ward. To consider a policy amendment allowing the city to measure interest in and the viability of new sidewalks without the creation of an SSA. In simple terms, without requiring financial contribution of the properties affected. During our third meeting at the committee, we determined the current new sidewalk installation policy should remain as is. We found the criteria in the current policy to be appropriate, given that in many instances, there are residents for and residents against sidewalks. The current process allows neighbors to come together and advocate for sidewalks, which is frankly the best way to keep the peace in the neighborhood. Lastly, we also felt the 50-50 cost-sharing language in the policy was appropriate. That said, through our discussions, there was interest in further discussing safe routes to school, specifically routes to Churchville, Conrad Fisher, and Field schools. These safe routes are posted on District 205's website. Therefore, we turned our attention to safe routes to schools, where we spent the next 5 meetings in deliberation. We discussed the feasibility of sidewalk installation on one side of the street between Wrightwood Avenue to Lake on the east side of Van Auken, Wrightwood Avenue to Crestview on the west side of Indiana, York Street to Crestview Park on the north side of Crestview Avenue, Van Auken Street to Emroy Avenue on the north side of Lake Frontage Road. Putting in these sidewalks, as outlined, it is feasible. However, it comes with a price tag somewhere in the $1.1 million range. We discussed whether TIF funds could be leveraged in any way. The preliminary answer was no for north-south sidewalks, as none of them connect to the TIF district. But it might be a possibility for east-west sidewalks, such as the one on Crestview Avenue that we discussed. Vice Chair Honquist suggested that we do a survey with the residents to understand their perspectives regarding sidewalks, with a focus on the safe routes to Churchville, Conrad Fisher, and Field schools. Staff surveyed residents in the northeast Elmhurst bounded by York, Lake Frontage, Park, Adelaide, Emroy, and Wrightwood. We received 355 survey responses. The survey showed 28% of those surveyed supported sidewalks at 50-50 cost sharing. The survey also showed 36% support for sidewalks if the city paid 100% of the bill. The survey also showed 36% support for no sidewalks. So as you can see, there's quite a variable response there for and against. The committee concluded the following. Safe routes to Churchville, Conrad Fisher, Field schools is important. However, there's mixed community support in the area surveyed. If the city absorbed 100% of the cost, there is a majority support. So you add the 50-50 and the 100%, there is majority there. You know, given the majority only comes with city absorbing 100% of the cost, we concluded that federal and/or state grants, as well as TIF funds for Crestview, would be required to support this project. The report before City Council tonight includes the following recommendations. Sidewalk installation on one side of the street between Wrightwood Avenue to Crestview Avenue on the east side of Van Auken, Wrightwood Avenue to Crestview Avenue on the west side of Indiana Street, York Street to Crestview Park on the north side of Crestview Avenue. We de-scoped Van Auken Street south of Crestview Avenue to lake frontage because the kids going to field school in this area are either bused or driven. These projects are dependent upon securing funds via federal and/or state grants and TIF dollars, for Crestview. Based on the grants typically available for these types of projects, realistically, securing funds is likely several years into the future and will also likely span multiple years given the size of grants. The grants that are issued won't cover or fund all these projects at once. So if this report is approved this evening, the direction we would be giving staff would be to immediately begin researching and applying for grant funding and to further assess the legality of using TIF funds for the Crestview Avenue sidewalk. I thank the council in advance for their support, and thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Brennan. Alderman Palumski.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to first thank the committee for their extensive work on this agenda item, including the administration of a comprehensive sidewalk survey. It wasn't just based upon a sidewalk in front of one's house if somebody had to pay 50% of the cost. I do want to say I had read through this and was particularly excited about the points that you mentioned that are different. The opportunity for potentially TIF dollars, once legally vetted, but also federal and state grant funds for safe routes to school. I will say what I didn't read until you just said it was that to not change the policy. I guess maybe this is a question of point of order. I read this as a policy change because our policy states that you must have an SSA, and it is imposed upon the people who have a sidewalk in front of them and they have to pay it back. So I would argue just by the mechanism to allow it to be funded by some other means other than an SSA is in fact a policy change. So I'm sorry, that's a kind of thing that I typically would call the chair about, but I'd not read this as, not changing a policy. It appears to be a fundamental shift in that it doesn't automatically impose, or require somebody to be part of an SSA and pay into it. So really a question for maybe the chair and in turn the committee.
I will venture my guess after you give me your thoughts.
Okay. The way the committee looked at this, we did contemplate just rejecting, not rejecting, but we obviously discussed the pros and cons, and we could have taken the decision at that point in time to just write a report saying that we're making no changes to the policy. That said, we had comprehensive discussion on it, and the thought of safe passage to parks and schools, did come up. And that's why it took us such a long time, is that we had to look at the entire city. And we did narrow the scope down to what is in the report this evening. So for me, the policy should stand on its own. And this is an outcome of our discussion and a recommended project that I don't think is related to the policy. It's an exception to the policy, but I'm not suggesting that we change the policy to allow this to happen. I'm saying that this report is allowing this to happen because of the very focused scope as it relates to safe routes to school. So I don't see it as a policy change. I see it as a recommendation to get very specific on a project that brings safety to this neighborhood for the kids in the neighborhood as well as the adults.
I would also concur that this is not a policy change in terms of our 50/50 SSA, but it is with respect to this one safe route to school, one set of sidewalks, that it's a recommendation that we deviate from that policy and install those sidewalks with funds from TIF or from federal grants. So it would be a change for those routes identified, that the residents are not being asked to put in 50% on that.
Okay.
Anything further, Alderman Palomsky, or
Not yet.
Alderman Jensen?
All right, thank you, Mayor. Thank you to the Public Works Committee and city staff for the work on this topic for the last nearly 2 years. The committee has had many discussions about easements, parkway trees, engineering, traffic surveys, and safety, among many other things. It's also heard many passionate arguments on this topic. The end result is that for the first time since the Crestview neighborhood became part of Elmhurst proper 58 years ago, the city will fund 100% of the cost of the installation of some sidewalks, those that act as safe routes to school. On these sidewalks, children will be able to walk or ride to school as safely as children in most other parts of Elmhurst. By providing these safe routes to school, more children will be able to safely enjoy the significant health benefits of walking or riding to school while reducing traffic congestion around their schools. While this project is focused on one neighborhood in particular, it benefits Elmhurst as a whole. In 2020, this council passed a Complete Streets policy that asks us to move towards roadways that are equally usable by all modes of transit. In 2021, this council passed a bike and ped plan that offer concrete steps to take in an effort to expand our safe biking and walking transit options. This report is another step down the long pathway towards making Elmhurst an Elmhurst that is safe and accessible for cyclists and pedestrians of all ages and abilities, and importantly, giving all Elmhurst children a safe route to walk or ride to school. I'm happy to support this report. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Toledo, and then Alderman Hill.
Thank you. A question for the committee. Have there ever been any documented accidents or pedestrian incidents or bicycle incidents with anyone to and from school or Crestview Park that you turned up during your research on this topic?
Alderman Brennan.
Thank you. We did discuss that. That's a pretty obvious question, and there's been none documented that we discussed at committee. There's been discussion around people that talk about, near misses and things of that nature, but nothing that was technically, reported to the police or any mishap.
Alderman Hill.
Thank you, Mayor. And thanks again to the committee and Public Works for all this work on this report. I know it's been a long time coming, and I've recently spent some time just mapping out safe routes to school and how they line up with other areas in Elmhurst that still don't have sidewalks. Do we have an overhead projector or an no, putting you on the spot. I'm kidding. I'm not going to make you look at my hand-drawn document. But what I did notice is that, with the existing policy, we're basically asking the residents to organize to pay 50% of the cost of putting in sidewalks on a safe route. And that just doesn't make sense to me that we're having the citizens incur that cost to cover safe routes. I think this is a priority, and I think the report speaks to that. And I think as we work on this as our first project, we can work towards other things that will help us complete sidewalks on safe routes all across Elmhurst. Most of Elmhurst does have sidewalks in place, but I think this is a good step towards the safe routes to school future. And I support this report. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional discussion? Alderman Brennan.
So just a couple other comments. So Alderman Toledo, we did discuss, were there any accidents, but I think out of our discussions, there was also it's a hypothesis, I guess, but, you know, a lot of kids don't walk to school because there are no sidewalks. And so, you know, I think, you know, we find that a lot of the kids are getting driven to school by their parents. So I think, again, it's a hypothesis, right? But you know, we don't want any accidents in the area, but we do want to promote, you know, walking, you know, to school. And so that's why the report has come out the way it has. And then there's one other point that I wanted to make, and I forgot what it was, Mayor, so I will.
Maybe we can
turn
get
it
someone
back
to
you.
say something else while you think about it. Any other discussion? Alderman Palumski, then Alderman Jensen.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, so I just want to express my support for what we're calling an exception to the rule, which we are codifying. But I think I really appreciate the work here, and the way I see it, it's the most fundamental shift to how we fund sidewalks that we've seen since at least 1990. We didn't even have the ability to, or any direction to look for funding in this, and even know that if we received it, that we would be able to allocate it in this way. So I'm happy to see that. I can actually speak to a question about safety and the sidewalks. I was the Field School Safe Routes to School rep in 2010, and we gathered information from all the schools. And some of what we learned, again, this is anecdotally, but we did hear from respondents that people chose to drive because they felt it was unsafe to have their kids walk or bike to school. So that is something that had been gathered. So I want to thank Alderman Chris Jensen for his ongoing attention to this agenda item and ongoing discussion with, I know, Chair Brennan, and to everybody involved. It's been a real pleasure to work with him on this. I know it's been almost 2 years of work for the committee, so I appreciate that. And I'd like to thank all the residents who have provided input on this topic, and not just for this agenda item, but any of the issues related to sidewalks or any, commenting on any need for those. So I want to say this report is in a way a result of those additive comments, not just for this specific agenda item. So I appreciate the report. Thank you.
Before we go to Alderman Jensen, when you say the word codification, us lawyers think, because...
Okay, well, we're approving it.
Just to be clear, because the report's a little misleading at the end where it asks the city attorney to prepare any necessary documents, and this is just a report, so there are no necessary documents, so I want to point that out.
Okay.
This is a report, not an ordinance change, but so that, bear that in mind, that even though it says any necessary documents, there really aren't any.
Okay.
All right. But thank you for that. Alderman Jensen.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to, throw it out there that we shouldn't have to wait for a kid to get hit by a car while they're riding or biking to school to try to provide a safer route for them to actually go to school. So that's it.
Thank you. Alderman Brennan, is it come back?
Looks like
Alderman Deuter.
Thank you, Mayor. Want to express my support for this report. I know a lot of work, a lot of discussion went into it. I think a quick search pulls up a lot of information about the health and safety benefits of sidewalks. And Alderman Jensen mentioned a couple of the initiatives that we've taken on to make walking and biking safer in Elmhurst. And I think he might have missed the walking and biking group, which was created in the last year. They're doing a lot of work to encourage more people to be walking and biking. It's both an information piece, an education piece, and also a bit of a culture change. So all of these things together, and also the neighborhood traffic analysis that we have taken on this year, to all of these efforts make our community safer, makes walking and biking safer, and I think moves us in the direction of what I would like to see, which is Elmhurst becoming the most walkable and bikeable community in DuPage County. So thanks to the committee for the report and for all of these efforts to keep folks safe as they're walking and biking.
Thank you. Alderman Brennan.
I did remember, Mayor.
All right.
Thank you. So this is not in the report, but we did discuss this at committee. We're hopeful that we accomplish and implement these projects. And there's something in place in this part of town that potentially other blocks and residents will see value in connecting to these arteries, if you will. So we do hope that it's not such a daunting thought of, you know, a 50-50 proposition underneath our current policy when you're the only block doing it, but if they can connect to something, we hope it turns into something.
Thank you. Alderman Hill, then Alderman Honquist.
Thank you, Mayor. Alderman Deuter reminded me of a comment I heard as this has been discussed that I think is relevant, in that a sidewalk does not just help the homeowner, it doesn't just help the safe routes to school, but it also helps connect all of Elmhurst, right? So a sidewalk has benefit for all the users of Elmhurst when we put one in. It's not just the block it's going in on, the home it's going in front of, the kids it helps bike or walk to school. It truly has a benefit across all of Elmhurst.
Alderman Honquist.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to add that I was very disappointed in the community for all the comments that are stated about safe walk to school. The community does not want to help pay for the safe walk to school. So this is a way to try and get sidewalks in the community, but I paid 50% of my sidewalk. Everyone I know paid 50% of their sidewalk. I think we'd have a very different conversation in here if the city were going to fund these 100%. So the survey had, by my reading of it, almost 2/3 rejection if they actually had to pay. So I just want to be clear for all those that are here and the people that showed up. I don't disagree with a lot of what was said here. I did walk to school without a sidewalk. Lots of people did growing up. It's preferred to have a sidewalk. I live on a block with a sidewalk. My wife still made me drive the children to school because, of course, there's a boogeyman out there and someone's going to get them. But that aside, it's a personal thing. You know, we had that advantage, and our schools are built for walking to school. So I would like to see the neighborhood, though, if this goes forward, if the neighborhood would step up, if they really believe in this, and go with the 50-50 share, and we could supplement with the grants, and this would get done much faster. So I just want to add that bit of color to it.
Thank you. Additional discussion, Alderman Park.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to say that I'm very excited about this step towards some progress, and like Alderman Brennan said, that this could be the spark to get things going, the catalyst by having some arteries, that we will connect this pocket of Elmhurst to not only the schools and Crestview Park, but our Northside Business District, you know, in the community as a whole. Like Alderman Hill said, I have said long that the sidewalks in front of one house serves far more people than just that family who live in the house or on the block or in Elmhurst. You know, there could be anybody that is going to be walking, and being a walkable community, as Alderman Deuter said, is something that we have as our end game that we are working towards. And if we want to achieve that, we have to behave like that is what we want to have happen. So with that, we need to get some sidewalks installed, and we have to figure out a way to fund them. And I'm hopeful that we can find some grants and TIF dollars. And then if not, then I hope that we can make this a priority to get it going sooner rather than later. Because I think, as other people have said, we don't want to wait until kids are, or other walkers or pets or anything else, whether it be walking to school or any time of day or night. We want people to be safe and be able to have that freedom to explore the neighborhood and connect with their community. So I am excited about that, and yeah, sidewalks are people infrastructure, and I am so glad that we've come to make the first step in a long time.
Thank you. Additional conversation? All right, I think we're ready to call the roll. Clerk Tamer.
Mulliner.
Aye.
Brennan.
Aye.
Barimas.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
Dunn, absent. Hill.
Aye.
Palumsky.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Toludo. Aye. Cahill.
Aye.
Nudera.
Aye.
Park,
Aye.
Conquest,
Aye.
Bastido, absent. 12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent.
12 ayes, 0 nay, 2 absent. Report 8.1 passes. On to ordinances. 9.1, Clerk Tamer, would you read the ordinance, please?
An ordinance waiving bid and authorizing the issuance of a notice of award purchase order for the purchase of concrete streetlight poles. See item 6.12.
All right, I'm going to first call on a motion to put this before the council. Alderman Brennan, second Alderman Honquist. When you present this, Alderman Brennan, you may want to make more universal comments. All right, very good. Alderman Brennan.
This will not be a windy part of the meeting. Please forgive the committee. We have 9 reports that were under the consent agenda that had suspension of the rules. And all of them, quite frankly, it's that time of season. Spring's right around the corner, and it's just one of those unfortunate things to where, the runway is very short on a number of these things. That said, this first one's for streetlights, and all these, we've already approved the suspension of the rules in the report. So I'll give a brief description moving forward, but that's the rationale.
All right, so for each of these and the resolutions that follow, it's to
Yes.
get these public works projects underway while the season is upon us.
That is correct.
All right, very good. Do you want to say further on 9.1?
No.
All right. Any additional discussion on 9.1? Clerk Tamer, call the roll.
Mulliner.
Aye.
Brennan.
Aye.
Verimus.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
Dunn. Absent. Hill.
Aye.
Palumski.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Toledo.
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Nudera.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Conquest.
Aye.
Bastido, absent. 12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent.
12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent. Ordinance 9.1 is adopted. Ordinance 9.2, Clerk Tamer, please read the ordinance.
An ordinance waiving bid and authorizing the purchase of 2 Chevy Bolt 5-door electric vehicles for use by the City of Elmhurst Water Reclamation Facility staff. See item 6.13.
We have a motion to put ordinance 9.2 before the council. Alderman Brennan with a motion, Alderman Honquist with a second. Alderman Brennan.
Thank you, Mayor. So these are 2 Chevy Bolt EVs. The dealer have them in stock, so therefore we want to buy them before they disappear.
Thank you. Additional discussion on 9.2. There being none, Clerk Tamer, please call the roll.
Mulliner.
Aye.
Brennan.
Aye.
Verimus.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
Dunn, absent. Hill.
Aye.
Palumski.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Toledo.
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Nudera.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Conquest.
Aye.
Bastido, absent. 12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent.
12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent. Ordinance 9.2 is adopted. Ordinance 9.3, Clerk Tamer, please read the ordinance.
An ordinance waiving bid and authorizing the issuance of a notice of award purchase order for the purchase of replacement traffic signal controller equipment. See item 6.14.
May I have a motion to put 9.3 before the council? Motion, Alderman Brennan, second Alderman Honquist. Alderman Brennan.
So these are traffic signal controllers that are aged, and we're finding difficulty finding parts for. So it's pretty urgent that we replace them.
Thank you. Additional discussion on ordinance 9.3? There being none, Clerk Tamer, call the roll.
Mulliner. Brennan.
Aye.
Verimus.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
Dunn, absent. Hill.
Aye.
Palumski.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Toledo.
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Nudera.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Conquest.
Aye.
12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent.
12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent. Resolution 10.1 is adopted. Resolution 10.2, Clerk Tamer, call the roll.
Oh, that was 9.3.
I'm sorry. I forgot we don't call the roll, we have to have a motion. Sorry?
We just approved 9.3, not 10.1.
Did I?
You said 10.1.
Did I say 10.1? Yeah. Sorry, I was getting to be kind of on a road there. All right, 9.3 it is. Let's go on to the next one. Read.
A resolution authorizing the issuance of a notice of award in contract for the 2023 sanitary sewer lining and manhole rehabilitation project. Project number 23-15 for the City of Elmhurst, Illinois. See item 6.15.
May I have a motion to put 10.1 before the council? Motion, Alderman Brennan, second Alderman Honquist. Alderman Brennan, with the same explanation you gave for the resolutions applied to the ordinances.
That's correct.
Very good, 10.1.
Yep, I'm going, my explanation for 10.1 and 10.2, I'm going to couple them together because they're related. 10.1 is a sanitary sewer lining project. It's tied to the pavement resurface program that we approved a couple weeks ago. So we need to get this approved this evening so we can get ahead of the repaving project, because we certainly want to do the lining of the sanitary sewers before we resurface the roads. And 10.2 are the professional services associated with that. So, but I know we're only talking about 10.1. But I'll have no explanation for 10.2.
Very good, thank you, Alderman Brennan. Any other discussion on 10.1? Clerk Tamer, call the roll on 10.1.
Mulliner.
Aye.
Brennan.
Aye.
Verimus.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
Dunn, absent Hill.
Aye.
Palumski.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Toledo.
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Nudera.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Honquist.
Aye.
Bastido, absent. 12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent.
12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent. Resolution 10.1 is adopted. Resolution 10.2, Clerk Tamer, please read the resolution.
A resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a professional engineering services agreement between the City of Elmhurst, Illinois and Baxter and Woodman, Inc. for the sanitary sewer lining and manhole rehabilitation project. See item 6.16.
We have a motion to put Resolution 10.2 before the council. Motion, Alderman Brennan. Second, Alderman Honquist. Any discussion on 10.2? Clerk Tamer?
Mulliner.
Aye.
Brennan.
Aye.
Verimus.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
Dunn, absent Hill.
Aye.
Palumski.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Toledo.
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Nudera.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Honquist.
Aye.
Bastido, absent. 12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent.
12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent. Resolution 10.2 is adopted. Resolution 10.3, Clerk Tamer, please read the resolution.
A resolution authorizing DuPage County gasoline and diesel procurement joint purchase. See item 6.17.
We have a motion to put Resolution 10.3 before the council. Motion, Alderman Brennan. Second, Alderman Honquist. Alderman Brennan.
Thank you, Mayor. We're over halfway done, by the way.
Duly noted.
So this is a gas diesel purchase, which starts April 1st. So it's the reason for the suspension of the rules. Thank you.
Any additional discussion on Resolution 10.3? Clerk Tamer, call the roll.
Mulliner.
Aye.
Brennan.
Aye.
Verimus.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
Dunn, absent Hill.
Aye.
Palumski.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Toledo.
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Nudera.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Honquist.
Aye.
Bastido, absent. 12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent.
12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent. Resolution 10.3 is adopted. Resolution 10.4, Clerk Tamer, call the roll.
Read it first.
Read the resolution.
That's all right.
We got to break these up a little bit.
We're on a roll. A resolution approving and authorizing the purchase and planting of parkway trees for the 2023 tree purchase and planting program in the City of Elmhurst, Illinois. See item 6.18.
May I have a motion to put this before the council? Alderman Brennan, motion. Second, Alderman Honquist. Alderman Brennan.
So this is our annual tree purchase. Just to remind the council, we did suspend planting trees a couple years ago. This is our second year of doing 1.5 times our normal annual volume. So we will be purchasing 788 trees to be planted in Elmhurst. And for obvious reasons, spring's right around the corner. We want to get them and get them planted.
Very good. Additional discussion on 10.4. Alderman Palumski.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank the committee, and I also want to clarify some, I think, confusion. Sometimes I think this tree program, similar to what we have done with our street repaving, in times when we do not have adequate funds, the city may suspend some of our programs only to reinstate them and ramp them back up to make up for maybe any of the lost progress. So I want to clarify what that was, if there's any questions, so thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Palomsky. Additional discussion. Clerk Tamer, call the roll.
Mulliner.
Aye.
Brennan.
Aye.
Barimas.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
Dunn, absent Hill.
Aye.
Palomsky.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Toledo.
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Nudera.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Conquest.
Aye.
12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent.
12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent. Resolution 10.4 is adopted. Resolution 10.5, Clerk Tamer, please read the resolution.
A resolution approving and authorizing the execution of change order number 1 for the McKinley Stormwater Pump Station Rehabilitation Project. See item 6.19.
We have a motion to put Resolution 10.5 before the council. Motion, Alderman Brennan. Second, Alderman Honquist. Alderman Brennan.
Thank you, Mayor. So we're coming down the home stretch with this McKinley Stormwater Pump Station. We are de-scoping in a change order 6 items, which gives us some wiggle room per the budget to do some fiber, work on this project. So this is a change order, suspending the rules so we can get this project completed and closed out.
Any additional discussion on Resolution 10.5? Clerk Tamer?
Mulliner.
Aye.
Brennan.
Aye.
Barimas.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
Dunn, absent Hill.
Aye.
Palomsky.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Toledo.
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Nudera.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Conquest.
Aye.
Bastido, absent 12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent.
12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent. Resolution 10.5 is adopted. Last but not least, Resolution 10.6. Clerk Tamer, please read the resolution.
A resolution approving and authorizing the execution of change order number 2 for the Water Reclamation Facility Bundle 4 Improvement Project. See item 6.20.
We have a motion to put 10.6 before the council. Motion, Alderman Brennan. Second, Alderman Honquist. Alderman Brennan.
Okay, so this is Bundle 4 for our waste reclamation facility project. We have an IEPA loan associated with this, and this is just paperwork and housekeeping to process a change order. We're still under budget here, and we're suspending the rules, so again, we can move this along and get things, in compliance with the IEPA loan procedure. Thank you.
Very good. Additional discussion on 10.6. Clerk Tamer?
Mulliner.
Aye.
Brennan.
Aye.
Barimas.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
Dunn, absent Hill.
Aye.
Palomsky.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Toledo.
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Nudera.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Conquest.
Aye.
Bastido, absent 12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent.
12 ayes, 0 nays, 2 absent. Resolution 10.6 is adopted. Item 11, other business. Is there other business to be brought before the council? Alderman Barimas.
Thank you, Mayor. Last Thursday, we hosted a successful College View traffic study open house. And I want to thank Public Works Director Stan Bilecki and our city engineers. They have done a ton of work on this project, and we're so thankful. Thank you. And to all the residents who came out and provided feedback, we look forward to seeing the final project, and it's another way we're going to improve traffic and safety throughout our community. So thank you.
Very good. Any other business to be brought before the council? Seeing none, I'll ask for a
Oh, there was 2 or 3. Yeah.
You have more business?
Yeah.
Other
sorry.
business. Alderman Brennan.
Thank you. So the Public Works and Building Committee will not be meeting on 3/27 as we won't have a quorum. Thank you.
Alderman
Due to spring
Deuter.
break, by the way.
Yes.
The Public Affairs and Safety Committee is in the same position. We will not be meeting next week.
All right. Alderman Palomsky.
Development Planning and Zoning will also not be meeting next week. We will see everybody in April.
So for all you political council junkies, show up at Finance and Council Affairs. Alderman Dunn or Toluta will be serving light refreshments, and you'll have a good time. Any other business to be brought before the council? Alderman Honquist.
Last thing, tomorrow is World Down Syndrome Day. For those of us that have those people in our lives, it's a great day. 2, the Special Olympics York basketball team went down to state a couple weeks ago. Didn't do as well, but had a good time. 2nd year in a row they've done that, so that's cool. And 3rd, to the charitable event I talked to the other night, for those of us that have family, friends, or other people that are looking for jobs to give back, there's a desperate need for people to care for other people. There's plenty of money, there's plenty of buildings, there are no people. It seems to be everywhere in my life right now, everywhere I go, job and volunteer. But I think for a lot of people that are struggling, giving back is a good way to get past a lot of your own troubles, and you start focusing on giving instead of trying to get, and life tends to get better. So for those that know people looking for a job in that space, you can contact me. And for the 5 or 10 people on TV, feel free to give me a call. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Honquist. I would say this is the largest other business agenda I've had in my 12 years on the council. Alderman Jensen.
I figured I'd join the party. I just have one thing to say. I don't know if, can I clarify comments from before on a report that we passed?
I think the chair will allow that.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to clear up, when I said that we shouldn't wait for an accident to happen to, put sidewalks in, things like that, it might have appeared that I was, targeting another alderman on the council. I want to apologize to you if you felt targeted by that, but that reminded me of something that I've seen out there a few times, and some people have said to me, like, we've never had an accident in the last 3 years, why we need sidewalks now, and it sort of reminded me that was a point I wanted to make, and I felt that was an opportunity to make it, and probably seemed unnecessarily harsh, and I wanted to just clarify that. Thank you.
All right. Alderman, everyone should get a shot at it. Alderman Park.
Well, I also wanted to commend the York JV hockey team, because hockey is unique in that it's a part of like the state hockey league, different than the IHSA. They also have a state championship, and on last Monday night, our York JV won the state championship, I believe for the very first time in school history.
Well, I don't want
And there's a
to.
lot
I
of
want
good
you to
kids
feel
on
bad,
that.
but I did say that I wouldn't leave them out. But
You did say JV?
yeah.
Oh, my bad then.
That's all right. Everyone gets other business tonight. So if that's how you want to use
just
your
wanna
minute
be
of other
included.
business, all right. Alderman Mulliner. All right. I feel like calling on the city treasurer, but we need leave to do that, so we won't. Any other business? Going once, twice, thrice. All right. A motion to adjourn. Yes, Alderman Brennan. Second, Alderman Honquist. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.